Today we are discussing about criminals. That's right. Officers forced entry to premises in industrial estate in Sandwell, West Midlands in the United Kingdom on May 18th. A neighbor tipped them off and it was, illegal. That's right. These officers thought that an abandoned warehouse was using a lot of electricity, stolen electricity, for plants. You know what plant I'm talking about. It's green and it's legal in some places. But in the UK, they thought this was an illegal operation, and it turns out it wasn't. Turns out it was a Bitcoin mining farm. So, 3 nerds. That's a great description by the mass media. 3 nerds are behind Britain's biggest illegal Bitcoin mine. They stole £16,000 worth of electricity a month. A month. That is right. That's almost $20,000, 16 GBP to USD. That actually, I was wrong. Looks like it went up. It is $22,700 per month. That is a lot of electricity to be stealing. And the mass media reports just £8,000 per month. They were just making £8,000 per month. Well, yeah, Bitcoin went down, but still, if you're stealing electricity, I mean, you don't really care about the cost. You're not like, oh, well, it's 16,000, but we only made 8,000. You don't care. It's free. It's free. You're making £8,000 a month. And £8,000 a month is $11,350 per month. Divided by the 3 of them, that's a few $1,000s just for having 100 computers mining Bitcoin. So the police were tipped off because a drone was doing a heat source, and, they've had various cases over the years where a neighbor is growing a lot of plants, and it's the winter time. You ever see that picture in the UK? It's the winter time and all the neighbors' houses have snow except this one house. Yeah, so the heat that is generated from so many lights and whatever else they need for these operations, well, the police thought that was going on. But turns out it's just Bitcoin. That's right, it's just Bitcoin. Huge amounts of electricity were siphoned from the national grid by drilling through the floor of the building near Birmingham. While there are dozens of legal mining operations around the UK, there's plenty more that are illegal, and the simplest of them start with stealing electricity from your neighbor. There's plenty of green campaigners and Save the Earth activists that are saying, oh my god, Bitcoin uses too much energy, which the banking system uses more, social media uses more, YouTube uses more. I mean, pretty much any website that you're using, one of these large websites, these large companies, they're using more electricity, and they're burning up more fuel than crypto has ever burned up. But with the activists and with the Times and the politics and Elon Musk, there's plenty of new crypto companies that are trying to go green, so they're trying to reduce their emissions. Police heard that lots of people were visiting the unit at different times of day, and they found lots of wiring and ventilation ducts were visible. IT equipment was seized, and the police inquired with the Western Power, the electricity provider, and they had confirmed that yes, indeed, there was massive losses, as you could say. Are they really that massive? I mean, not really. It could have been much worse. I mean, if it was £100,000 per month. Dr. Tom Robinson from Elliptic, a firm which tracks cryptocurrency transactions, stated the machines would have generated approximately 0.2 bitcoins per month, worth approximately £5,000 at the current prices. And here is how they look like. That's right. So plenty of wires, plenty of mining rigs, nothing too crazy. Pretty simple stuff. These are Antminers from Bitmain, Antminer S9. West Midlands Police Sergeant Jennifer Griffin. It's certainly not what we were expecting. It had all the hallmarks of a plant cultivation setup, and I believe it's only the second such crypto mine we've ever encountered in the West Midlands. My understanding is that mining for cryptocurrency is not itself illegal, well, duh, but clearly abstracting electricity from the main supply to power, it is. We've seized the equipment and we'll be looking into permanently seizing it under the Proceeds of Crime Act, and the actual miners themselves might be worth a fair amount. If there's 100 Bitmain Antminers, let's check out the prices of them. If we go to Amazon, they're between obviously these are used, but between $500 And obviously it depends on what you're purchasing, because there's various ones with how much power they use and how powerful they are, but they're a few $100s, so probably on the used market a few $100s per 100, but they can go all the way up to $1,000, and some have been selling even for $1,500 because of the pandemic, inflation, there's been chip shortages, there's been a lot of this stuff. It all kind of culminated together, and that's why you have crypto miners and GPUs that are overly expensive. They're overpriced also because of crypto going up as well. Even with the crash, Bitcoin is still sitting above $35,000, $36,000, which a year ago we would have never really been talking about $30,000 Bitcoin. And yet here we are, we're sitting comfortably at it. People are saying it's a crash. Yes, it's a crash from 60,000, but we're still up, because in March 2020, Bitcoin was at $4,000. So yeah, 100 times, let's just say they sold it for 300, that's $30,000 that they seized of equipment. Obviously, they're going to report it as like probably $100,000, but whatever. The owner of the warehouse stated, the police turned up last week at some point, and now they were here from 11 p.m. at night till the end of the next day, as everyone was wondering what was going on. They didn't say much to any of us owners, but I know some of the men from that side of the estate did have a look inside the unit, and they couldn't believe how decked out it was. I spoke to my partner about Bitcoin, and he explained, but you would have never thought that. I mean, substances, yes, that would make sense and be pretty normal, but Bitcoin, I would have never guessed. We used to see 3 guys, they've been coming for around 8 months on and off, which, hey, if they've been making, let's just say an average of $5,000, $10,000 for 8 months, because Bitcoin's price was lower back then, and, there's a lot of variables here, but for 8 months, they made tens of thousands of dollars for each of them. You'd see them a few times, and then all of a sudden, they disappear for a month. And, they might get caught, they might not. Their stuff was seized, though. They were all English and just looked a bit nerdy and dodgy. They just had that look about that, and that, something ain't right. Yeah, sketchy. That side of the estate, though, is all cars and mechanics, and not as nice as this side, and this side has cameras, too, and they definitely knew that. A mechanic who works nearby said they've scarpered now, and they haven't been seen for ages. Oh my God, the mass media. Explaining why cryptocurrencies are popular with criminals, Dr. Robinson said cryptocurrencies are used by some cyber criminals because of their unique combination of properties. They are censorship resistant. No one can prevent a criminal from transacting in Bitcoin, for example, because there's no central point of control that has the power to block transactions, unlike traditional payment systems. They're also digital. Oh my goodness. The Daily Mail, one of the least reputable news sources of the UK, but it's always fun to read some of these topics. Yeah, look at the warehouse. It is kind of a sketchy looking place, but hey, they found a way to save some money. Oh my goodness, one of these comments. If the UN doesn't start shutting down cryptocurrency and the likes of NFTs sooner rather than later, how is anybody supposed to take their climate agenda seriously? It seems to me all this talk about the environment boils down to the general population creating less pollution so massive corporations can make more, which in turn increases their profits. And that last sentence is pretty spot on. That's exactly what's happening. Someone said the electrician looks very professional, neat and ordered. All the wires, yeah, sometimes you have it really messy, and people are really OCD about that. No legitimate users should touch Bitcoin. No legitimate users? Well, I guess that rules out the central bankers. Brexiteers should take note. Yeah, all of these comments are probably written by Russian spam bots. I hate the Daily Mail, and yet I read it often because it's my only quick source that I can scroll through in 5 minutes and figure out what's happening around the world, because I don't want to waste too much time in the news. But that's it for today's video. If you want to save money on Bitcoin mining, just steal electricity. No, that's not recommended. Thanks for watching. See you guys in tomorrow's video. Have a great rest of your day. Be ethical with Bitcoin.